For this experiment, I chose to make yogurt. By doing so, I first acquired whole milk, whole fat yogurt, a thermometer, and a glass jar with a secure lid. The first step in this process was heating the milk to about 180 degrees. This is going to help to sterilize the milk and make sure that there is no bacteria currently present in the milk. 180 degrees is just below the boiling point. You want to make sure that you have a thermometer to not go over the boiling point because you don't want to scorch it. The next step was taking the milk off the heat and cooling it down to about 110 degrees. This is when I added my starter culture, which was 2 tablespoons of the yogurt. I then made sure that my mixture was homogenized by whisking it and until it was completely mixed together. I then added my mixture into the glass jar with the lid, and then the next step was incubating. So since I don't actually own an incubator, I found out online that I can use my oven as an incubator. To do so, I read to turn my oven on to the lowest setting possible, which is going to be about 150 degrees for most ovens. And then I shut off the oven and put my mixture in the glass jar into the oven and shut the door. It said to leave it in there for about 12 to 24 hours. And every 2 hours, you're to turn your oven on again for just a couple of minutes and turn it back off to make sure that it's staying nice and warm in there. At about the 12-hour mark, it didn't seem to be quite the consistency that I wanted it to be. It just wasn't thick enough. So the next day, after it had been 24 hours, it seemed much more like the consistency that I was wanting to see, much more like yogurt that we're used to. So I took it out and examined my yogurt. And right away I could tell that it looked exactly like what I'm used to. But the smell is something that I definitely noticed that made me realize that I was successful in creating yogurt. So the microbes that are typically present in yogurt are Lactobacillus bulgaricus and Streptococcus thermophilus. Like I kind of said before, that the purpose of adding the yogurt was so that it was my starter culture. So since I sterilized the milk, because I don't want to be incubating or growing any bad bacteria. I only want to be growing that good bacteria, the Lactobacillus bulgaricus and the Streptococcus thermophilus. So then by adding that yogurt in there, that kind of helps to get the ball rolling for that fermentation process and the incubation process of the bacteria. The metabolic process that is happening during this fermentation is lactic acid fermentation. Lactic acid fermentation is a metabolic process by which glucose and 6 other carbon sugars are converted into cellular energy and the metabolite lactate. This is an anaerobic fermentation. These bacteria produce lactic acid in the milk by anaerobic process, which decrease the pH and produce compounds which give distinct taste and flavor to the yogurt. That flavor that we're used to tasting, kind of like a sour cream sort of flavor. It is a process in which the carbon source, like glucose, is converted into cellular energy and lactate. The oxygen depletion occurs by the bacteria and creates an anaerobic environment due to the excessive production of carbon dioxide. Lactate dehydrogenase is the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction process. So like I already said, I believe that I'm successful in making yogurt. I'm pretty happy with it. I was pretty worried at first since I didn't have a typical incubator. I was worried that it wouldn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, but I am very happy with the byproduct. I haven't actually tried it because I can't have dairy, so if I were to make it again, I think that I would try to make it with a non-dairy milk. and a non-dairy yogurt that you can buy, just a cultured like coconut milk or something like that, and some coconut milk. I didn't do that this time because I read online that the easiest way or the best milk to use to make your own yogurt is whole milk. So to make things a little bit easier on myself, I just went ahead and did it the classic way. But next time I'll definitely try to do it non-dairy. But so yeah, here is my final product.